everybody. Today we're doing a genealogy of the hamsters that I currently have, since obviously it's a little bit out of date due to the fact that many have actually died. Yeah, so we're going to start off with Boris. Come here, baby. Come on. I know, you don't want to come out from under your wheel. This is why I always end up taking all the toys out and stuff while I do the videos. Alright, anyways. So this is Boris. He is actually a smoked pearl. You can't really tell, unfortunately, in this kind of lighting, but he actually has a little bit of like smoked pearl like coloring up about his head. And you could tell that he's not a black whatsoever, because if you look at his ears, they're perfectly pink. Now, if this was white covered with black, meaning a black that's white, then you would see the black tips of the ears, which, if you look back when I last did this video, you could see that Zach had black tipped ears. Boris does not. He has no black in his genes. He was the father of one litter, but unfortunately that litter tragically got milk fever, and obviously nothing could be done by the time that I found out. In which case, his litter was lost. So, with that being said, he is a long-haired, smoked pearl with ruby eyes. Now, I'm not exactly sure if there's any extra kind of DNA colors and things in there just yet, because obviously I wasn't able to see his offspring. So it's, for all I know for right now, is he's a smoked pearl that's long-haired with ruby eyes. And with hamsters, there are two kinds of eyes. There's black and there's red. And like I said, he's actually a red eye, which you can't see, unfortunately, unless you end up taking a light to his eyes, and quite frankly, I don't want to do that, because he won't thank me for that. Isn't that right, sweetheart? Yes. But yes, so that's Boris, the smoked pearl, long-haired, red-eyed. And then, currently, as my oldest hamster, we have Darryl. Darryl is the offspring of Coco and Smokey. He is what you can see is he's a golden. Golden is pretty much your typical average Syrian hamster. There's really nothing special about that color. However, in his, I guess you could say behind genes that are in the background, he carries Sable, which is a cream with umbras, and he also carries possibly the light gray gene, which also known is the lethal gray. The only reason why I know this is because Smokey, we couldn't tell if he was light gray or a roan, but we found out in the end Coco and Smokey produce a majority of dark gray and light gray hamsters, which once again you can look back to Coco and Smokey, and you'll be able to see Coco's babies, and that would be Darryl's mommy. Obviously, Coco passed away quite a long time ago, same with Smokey, which, yeah, he is actually the last of his siblings currently, and he has black eyes. And he's actually one of the few hamsters that I own currently that have black eyes, because, like I said, the majority of them have passed on. As you can see with the colorings here, he is starting to turn more gray from age. He's a rightful age of 3, which is great. He's lived a long time. I've noticed a lot with my hamsters that females tend to die off faster than males. I don't know why, but in the majority of hamsters that I've had, the females have always passed on before the males. Now, this is Creampuff. He is the offspring of Alex. Alex was the offspring of Sarah. Sarah was the offspring of Sheila. In essence, it's part of Sheila's line that I decided to discontinue due to the fact that Sam, which was his father, had heart problems. And I noticed as well that since Sarah also had heart problems, it kind of coincided, and a majority of the hamsters, after about age 1 or so, started passing away from heart problems. But he is actually a puffy, as you can see with the ears. He is a black cream. Now, a black cream is a black that's been covered by cream, because even though both are recessive genes, cream tends to be more dominant over black, though you can see it in the ears, where if, like for instance, when I showed you Boris, how his ears were like a white cream, if he was a true cream with no black whatsoever, his ears would be that way too. But in the background, he's actually a black, but he looks like a cream. He also has red eyes, also known as ruby eyes. So he's pretty much a red-eyed cream, which they say puffies are considered more on the lines of long-haired, but I don't really consider them to be like, say, Boris or Moose or some of the other hamsters I have. So I just like to kind of call them puffies because it just tends to make more sense. Creampuff is the last of his litter, because besides the siblings that I don't know about, Peaches, Karen, who just recently passed away about 2 days ago, and Angel have all passed away. So he is literally the oldest in his litter that I'm aware of. So, with that being said, time to move on to the next hamster. Whoop. Now, here we have Duchess. Once again, perfect example. You can see the tips of the ears, which means that she's a black that's cream colored. Chances are one of her parents was probably black, the other one was probably cream, or they were both blacks that were covered in cream. I'm not entirely sure, because I actually did not breed her, because she was not a good candidate for that. She also has red eyes and is a short hair. And like I said, I don't know what her genes could possibly have behind scenes, because yeah, I wasn't able to breed her. She was what I considered unbreedable. I'm not sure if it was because she was sterile, but she never had any interest in any of the males, and when bred, she never produced any offspring. In which case, yeah, that was pretty much, she was just my pet hamster. But we're gonna move on. Alright, now, we're gonna put you right here, and we're gonna continue down the line, because there are so many hamsters. This is Gracie. Remember Gracie? Yeah, there's Gracie. Hi, baby girl. She is the offspring of Gloria, which obviously Gloria is a mink, which is a cream mixed with umbrus, and so she produced, voila, a cream. And obviously you can see a little bit of the tips of the ears. Once again, showing that black is also in the genes. And the reason why that is because Peanut Butter, who is the son of Gina. Had to remember that G name. Anyways, he was the son of Gina. Gina was a black panda bear, actually. Panda bear Syrian. And obviously, even though he's a mink, you can see, even way down the line, that it's still passed on to her. And she's a, once again, a black that's covered by cream. She also has black eyes because Gloria has black eyes. I'm not sure exactly which one is more dominant versus which one is not, but she has black eyes, which is alright. And this is Gabriel, who is Boris's brother. You can kind of see even better now with the smoked pearl looks to him. Just got finished having fun with his water bottle. Ended up spraying his head because it had a problem with a leak. But that happens. Anyways, I'm hoping that, I'm going to be able to prove that he's not sterile. But if not, then it'll be his brother that I'll be breeding with this week for Layla. But you can see he has the most beautiful coloring compared to his brother, where you can really see it on his head and parts of his back. But he is such a sweet boy. Sweet, sweet boy. Great personality. Once again, smoked pearl. You can kind of see a little bit at the tips here that he has more possibly black, maybe a different kind of gene going on in the ears that may be hidden. But once again, I'm not sure because I don't know his parents, which is great. So that's that happens. He's also red-eyed, like his brother Boris, and obviously you can tell that he's what you definitely would consider a long-haired. And like I said, super sweet boy. Super sweet boy. But, isn't that right, baby? Yes. You just like getting yourself all wet, don't you? Alright. Now to move on. Now, we are finally on to the line on which I am working for. This is Peanut Butter. His mother was Gina, whose father was Rhett, whose mother was Sheila. And with that, he's a mink. His father was a mink. His mother was a black panda bear, which is black, but it's a black with pretty much like a stripe like he has. He has ruby eyes, which he got from his father. And Rhett, who was Gina's father, was a golden, but he carried obviously the black gene, so on and so forth. Moving on. He also carries the long-haired gene too, because Nanook, who was his father, had the long-haired gene. But it's you can't really see it very well. It's hidden. But his mate was Gloria. Gloria was the mother of Gracie and Stella. She's a long-haired mink. And obviously, you can see that she also carries the black gene, but she has ruby eyes, which is super fantastic. But like I said, she also carries more of the satin look, which is why she ended up passing on to her. Well, a majority of her litter were satins, and then once again, ruby-eyed, long-haired mink, which is, once again, cream mixed with umbrus, but in a lighter form. Then we have, there's Stella! Hi, sweetheart! Yes, did you miss me? And then you can see around her face, you can see the little fuzzies, which, once again, sign that she's a long-haired, carries the long-haired gene, is a mink, and also has red eyes. Same as her mother and her father. Bye-bye, Stella. Now, her mate, once again, also a mink, was Moose. Moose is a mink, red-eyed, long-haired. Obviously, I think he has more brown in him too. Maybe the chocolate gene, not entirely 100% sure, but the majority of the pups that were produced were mink or lighter brown kind of mink, which looked very much like him. Isn't that right, baby? Yes, you are just so sweet. I love you. But you can also tell that even with the mink, you can see the ears have like a black tint to them, which once again means he too is a carrier for the black gene. Once again, not black, but mink. Because cream normally covers black. Alright, we finally got to the last hamster, Layla, who is a mink. She's a lighter brown mink, actually, which is interesting because you can see in certain parts, like in this area, for example, it's kind of a creamy kind of color. She's also a satin. And Stella is also a satin. Both are satins, and satin is a dominant gene, meaning you only need one gene in order for the majority of the litter to carry that gene. And she's a mink, like I said before, as well as her father, her mother, her grandmother, her grandfather, and even her great-grandfather, which was Nanook. And you can even see a little bit at the tips of her ears. She has a little bit of dark brown black, which shows that, once again, she carries the black gene. How you can tell she's a mink? You can see her eyes. Around them, there's almost like a cream look to them. There's like a cream circle, which kind of shows off her eyes, so to speak. And obviously she's a long hair, like her father, her mother, her grandmother, and her grandfather carried the gene, and her great-grandfather was a long-haired. In which case, I have finally gotten it through all those generations to have a majority long-haired. Meaning, when I breed her with, hopefully, Gabriel, if not then Boris, her litter will have all long hair. Now, I'm not entirely sure, once again, like I said in the beginning, what the parents of Boris and Gabriel are. So when I end up breeding them together, I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to get out of them, because the litter that I got from Boris ended up passing away before their colors even began to show. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see what I get out of them. And so that's what's going to be happening this week, and you'll be able to see it next week. And hopefully we'll get a litter from it. Because it's always nice when on the first try you end up having a litter. Though I have had to have times where I've had to breed them close to 4 times before actually producing a litter. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. But that is going to be the end of this video, and I am so happy that I was able to get all these hamsters back on film. So, doodles everybody!